Hi guys, and welcome to another Logic Pro X tutorial. Okay, somebody asked about how do I do certain things, I want to record my songs in Logic using a guitar and a vocal, and then I want to progress onto there to record songs with perhaps some more acoustic instruments, and eventually then the person said they wanted to move on to actually record a real band, but initially to get recordings of their songs down. So I've decided to do some general videos showing how to make songs in Logic Pro, the basics for beginners. Okay, I'll continue to do tutorials on new features in Logic Pro X to tie in with the old tutorials I did for Logic 9, which of course are all just the same for the Logic Pro X. But I thought, although this is dance tech, I thought it would be, I want to try and get more people interested in these videos, and widen the net a bit in terms of people who watch these. So I decided when I've got time I'm going to show beginners the basics of how to get songs together, demo songs in Logic. Okay, so we'll start off with a typical acoustic song. We're going to do Knocking on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan because it's simple, most people know it, and it's not that long. Okay, now the thing is, beginners might not quite understand this. When you make a demo of a song in a sequencer, and when I say a song I mean a traditional song, where normally you play it with a guitar and a voice, or possibly a keyboard and a voice, but it's a solo thing, just the instrument you're playing and your voice presenting the song. But when you make the demo in a sequencer, you are wanting to make a demo showing what it would be like if a band was playing that song, drums, bass, and possibly other instruments. Okay, either because you want people to hear just what it would be like with a band playing it, or because you want to, I don't know, get a band demo together, like with backing, to then give it to musicians so they can learn it and you can go and play it live, whatever. But it's about making a demo of your song in a sequencer. And although this is a Logic Pro X tutorial, it's really about a procedure, right? We're not going to use deep things in Logic here. The deep things in Logic are things you use when you're trying to do specific tasks on a more deeper level. Okay, things like comping audio and stuff. Okay, we're not going to use that. What I'm going to be teaching here is the basics for beginners of the methodology. There's a method when you're making a demo of a song in a sequencer, and it doesn't really matter if it's Logic, Sonar, Cubase, Reaper, or whatever sequencer you're using. It's a method. There's a series of procedures that you do to get a demo together. Okay, so that's what we're going to be teaching in this. Okay, so Knocking on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan, how to make a demo song using that as an example. So the first thing you want to do is you've got to get the tempo right, of course. So you put on your click, and there's the tempo there on the LCD display where it says BPM, this number, and it can be dragged slower tempo or faster tempo, as fast or as slow as you want. So the first thing you do is you set the tempo, which on most sequences is a default of 120. You get the guitar and you strum the song, and you put the click on and turn up the volume here so you can really hear the click. Okay, and let me just turn up my headphones. And you strum along to that click, and you either turn the tempo down by dragging it lower, or push the tempo up to make it faster, and you keep playing and adjusting the tempo until you get the click, the right tempo for the song. So in the case of this song, 120 is actually correct. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Mama, take these guns off of me. I can't shoot them anymore. 120 is actually right, but you adjust your tempo until you get the click at the right tempo. That's the first thing. Get the tempo correct for the song. Okay, then the next little task to do is zoom right out, and you'll find this triangular thing here. See that? That little triangular thing on the ruler there? That's the end song marker, and you cannot record past this marker, right? So you drag the playhead right to the end like that, as far as it will go to that marker, and look at the time. Drop the LCD down here and choose the time display. And I've got 4 minutes 28 seconds, so I drag the end marker out, and you of course will have needed to go through your song with a stopwatch to get how long the recording time is for that song, right to the end, right? So I need like 5 minutes maximum, so you should choose enough time for the length of the song plus a little bit extra. Okay, so you bring this end marker back like that, or forward or whatever, and you put the playhead there like that, and I need 5 minutes. 5 minutes 0 seconds. That's I don't need to record past that point, and then I bring the end marker up to the playhead like that, and now I've got 5 minutes of recording time, which is adequate. Okay, that's the next task. Okay, now of course, if you, in the process of making this demo, we're going to make fake band backing, software drums, possibly software bass if you don't play real bass. You might bring other instruments in, keyboards, synths, strings, you know, whatever. So of course your guitar has to be in tune with the instruments, otherwise when you add the instruments they'll be out of tune with the guitar, right? So your guitar has to be in tune. Now there is a tuner in Logic which you can access if you have an audio track set. You bring up the tuner like that, but to be honest, it's so useless to tune an acoustic guitar via a mic that you know, it's next to useless. So one technique you can use to tune your guitar if you do not have an acoustic guitar tuner, to make sure your guitar will be in tune with the instruments, set up an instrument track, open the library, choose some sort of instrument that's got good sustain, like a string patch or something, okay, like that, and then put in a region, put a cycle loop around it, go into that region and just put a long note across it in whatever note you want to tune to. So if this is Knocking on Heaven's Door is in G, so I could put my note G, drag it right across and then tune to that. That'd be too loud, you know. Yeah, that's in tune, but that's one way you can, a technique you can use to get your guitar in tune with the instruments prior to putting your guide guitar down and things. Alright, show. That's that. Okay, let's get rid of that track. Okay, so get rid of that one as well. Okay, so we've got the guitar in tune, we've set the tempo correct. In this case 120 for Knocking on Heaven's Door, because I'm doing it at a traditional tempo, let's call it, and you've set your end marker so you've got enough recording time and you've got your guitar in tune. Now the next thing in the procedure that we need to do is we have to create a core beat. Okay, so you get a drum instrument set up, regular instrument track. We're not going to use the drummer for this. The drummer tracks, and the drummer's useful. And you can do a lot of deeper things with it, but it's essentially useful because it'll play drums for you automatically, giving you something to play along to create ideas and things. But in this case, although there is ways with drummer that you can make it play specific beats you want by programming it from MIDI notes, we're just going to go with a regular instrument track, okay, and we're going to put a drum kit on it. And I haven't downloaded all the content, but these are the same kits that the drummer tracks use, but we're just going to trigger them from normal MIDI patterns, right? We're going to write our own drum patterns. So I'll choose a kit, and you can change the kit afterwards and change the drums and edit the drums, etc. So it doesn't matter if it's not exactly right, but you need to obviously get a kit that's got the right kind of sound. So there's my kit, you know, which is fairly indie sounding. I can tune any of this, and you can change snares, etc., change kick drums, etc. Right? Okay, so we're going to make the core beat. Put in a region, put a cycle loop around it, 1 bar, And let's go into the editor, and now again, beginners might not really understand much about drums. I actually play drums. You know, I owned studios for a while, quite a few years, and of course they had drum kits in, so every day I'd get up in the morning and make some coffee and go down and beat the shit out of the drums. Do you know what I mean? And I jam with people and all sorts, and I actually had the pleasure of playing with the Yardbirds once, believe it or not, about 10 years ago. What's left of the Yardbirds. I was at a party, a private party, and they played a set, and then after they finished the set, it turned into a bit more of a jam, and you know, some guy got up to sing with them, and he wanted to do a reggae tune, and the drummer, to be honest, wasn't really doing very well playing a reggae beat, so I was drunk. And I said to my mate, right, this needs me on the drums. So I ran across the warehouse, and I got up on the stage, and I just made a hand motion to the drummer, like, go on, give me the sticks, and he was really cool about it. That's the thing about proper musicians, they're not possessive like young wannabe, I want to be a rock star type musicians, and he just went, yeah, have the sticks, mate, I'm going for a drink. And I played drums with him, but not the drummer. So yeah, I play a bit of drums. I'm not a great drummer or anything, but I understand the principle of playing drums. So you know, if you have played a kit at all, even if you're not a great drummer, you'll understand the principle of them, but a lot of beginners don't. So just to say, the way you do the drums is like, okay, a drummer sits down to play along with you, and the first thing that the drummer will do is one of the drum instruments, they'll use it to hold down the beat, the tempo, like a click, because you've got a click here going tick tick. Well, a drummer will use one drum to keep time, so usually it's the closed hi-hat or the ride or something. It could be a tom or something, but so I put in a hi-hat note. Let's raise the velocity to about 80 something, right? Not too loud, but not too quiet. And the drummer, I'm going to put the drummer playing closed hi-hats on quarter beats. So the drummer's basically playing the same as the click. There's the click, and the hi-hat's playing the same thing. But you know, you might decide on your song to have the drummer playing eights, like that. I've got the window open, by the way, so there go the plods. If you are doing eights hi-hats, it's normal to make every other one slightly less in volume, like so it goes, you know, whatever. But I'm going to go with quarter beats for my hi-hat. There we are. And I'll just bung those up so they're the same velocity, about 80 something. Okay, now of course, as I said, the drummer might keep the time with the ride, like that. Okay, or even a tom. It depends on the song and what you want from the arrangement and the production. But I'm going to go with the traditional closed hat, keeping time. So the drummer keeps time with one instrument. I'll put them all up to about 90 velocity. Okay, then pretty much on, and especially with rock music, pretty much the drummer always puts a kick drum on the first beat of the bar. Boom. So put in a kick. I'll make the velocity about 90. Don't want it too low, but I've got plenty of room to do a louder one if I want. And then this is in a 4/time, this song, so I'll put the snare on the 3. That's a rim shot, snare, louder velocity snare. So I could start with a regular snare like that, or a rim shot. Okay, and that's my basic beat, which of course works because it's just 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. It'll work with the playing. Mama, take these guns off of me. Okay, now that'll do for now, because okay, again, here's a beginner's thing. When I first started getting a bit more advanced in engineering and started to actually get offers to produce people or do things like that, I was signed to the most prestigious management company in the world for producers, and I happened to ask a multi-platinum producer one day. So I'm kind of I'm an engineer. I'm a good engineer already, but you know, I'm starting out in this, and I'm a musician. Any tips? And he went, don't give them everything at once. That's all you need to know. That's the golden rule. Don't give them everything at once, and that is the golden rule in producing and writing. Is don't give them everything at once. It's about building. If you come piling in with everything at once, you've got nothing left. It's like making love to a beautiful woman. You don't, you know, like dive in and like that. You know, you build it, and it has ebbs and flows. You know, it should do if it's any good. But anyway, I digress. But you see what you know. Playing music is like making love to a beautiful woman. You know what I mean? It is. Don't give them everything at once. So I'm going to start with a very basic beat, but the other thing that drummers do is when they get into the chorus and the song picks up for the chorus, drummers tend to play more drums in the chorus. So we'll start with a basic beat that works, and it has to work with the rhythm of the strumming, and this obviously will. It's a simple 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll copy that across. Okay, and I'll copy it across again, and I'll copy it across again. So I've got 4 bars. Now that will be one cycle of the guitar playing for this tune. Okay, let's hear that. There we go. Mama, take these guns off of me. I can't shoot them anymore. So you could, if you want to, put in a little thing at the end. I could, for example, put that in, so there's a little but at the end on the kick and snare, like this. Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. Right, there's my little resolving little beat thing at the end to resolve the end of that cycle. More, ba boom, boom, ba boom, and that's what I've got for at the end. Any more, ba boom, boom, like this, boom, boom, ba boom, yeah. Okay, so there's my little one cycle of the playing. Okay, and my little resolve. Boom, boom, bat, boom at the end works with the groove. It's very important this works with the groove and drives the groove of the strumming rhythm along and works in empathy with that. So what I will do is that's one cycle. Okay, so obviously that's one cycle and 1/2 of a verse, and then if it was doubled over to 8 bars, I now have a full verse of my song. One full verse, 16 bars. Oh, sorry, 8 bars. Okay, let's just hear that. And after each 4 bars, there's a little lick on the kick and snare, going boom, boom, bat, and boom, like that. So let's hear that, just to check it all, right? Mama, take this badge off of me. Can't wear it anymore. Okay, something I forgot to say. When you've created this basic chord beat and you play through it with your guitar for the first time to check it, at this point also you may want to just tweak the tempo, because once you've got a beat playing at that tempo that you set originally with the click, and you play along with the actual beat, you might think actually it needs to be just a couple of beats faster or a couple of beats slower. So if you need to, adjust your tempo again at this point to get it just right, so that when you strum along with the drums, the tempo is exactly correct. Okay, fine. One full cycle of verse. We got the drum beat working. It works with the groove of the playing, the rhythm of the strumming. The little end lick gives it some interest to resolve at the end of a cycle, and works with the groove and everything. Done and dusted. And that's quite important, you get this bit right, but don't overdo the drums at this point. When we copy these patterns over to the chorus section, we will then possibly augment these drums by adding more kicks in, and maybe more snares or another drum or something, depending on the song. Drummers play more in the chorus, so don't overdo your drums at first. Okay, again, following the golden rule, don't give them everything at once. Short, 8 bars. Okay, now we've got that done, and now the next thing we want to look at is here, this global tracks. Okay, these are control tracks. Drop them down, and these, by default, you get arrangement marker track. There's the plods again. Oh, go on. Christ almighty. Right, arrangement marker track, the old marker track, signature track and tempo track default. Okay, right click or whatever you need to do. I don't do right click because that brings up my toolbox, but just bring up the shortcut menu here. Hide markers, hide signature. We just want the arrangement marker track and the tempo track, and notice of course that the tempo track, right, there'll be a node at the beginning and a line going across, and of course the node is at exactly the same as the tempo you set for the click. This is the tempo of the song that you set with the BPM there, the first job you did, getting the click the right speed for the song, right? So that's the tempo line going across at whatever tempo you set. Okay? Okay. Look at this arrangement marker track. It's got a little plus icon. Now these arrangement markers are pretty cool actually. You click the plus and an arrangement marker is created in the arrangement marker track. Now when you create an arrangement marker, it is always 8 bars long, but it can be dragged longer as you like or shorter, but it's always 8 bars by default. And there's a drop down list to retitle, if required, the arrangement marker to whatever you want: intro, verse, chorus, bridge or outro, and it could be custom named. So we're going to start with 8 bars of intro, then I'll make another one, call that intro as well, because my intro is going to be 2 cycles of the verse, 16 bars, a full double cycle. Okay, there's my intro, 16 bars of intro. Make another marker, verse, first half, 8 bars. Make another one, second half of the verse, make it verse. There's my first verse, 16 bars of verse, which is going to be followed by the first chorus. So make another marker, and if it isn't called chorus, call it chorus. And I'm going to use a double chorus. There it is, 2 chorus markers. There's my first chorus. Okay, next we'll go back to the verse. So another marker, make it the verse. It's a double verse again. Verse followed by, there's my second verse, 16 bars, and then it goes into the next chorus. So another marker, chorus again. It's a double chorus. Okay, so there's my next second chorus, 16 bars. After that we're going to go into the solo. I'm going to have a solo after this, right? So make another marker. There isn't actually a drop down title called solo, but you can rename these by just double clicking near to this edge here, right? But there's a bug in this logic where when you go to rename an arrangement marker, giving it a double click to give it a custom title, when you double click it, the hidden marker global track is suddenly unhidden. It's a bug. Watch, double click, boom, the marker track comes back. But I can now rename this solo. There we are, solo, and I have to then hide that marker track again. Okay, now my solo is 16 bars long. It's a double cycle, the same as the verses and the choruses. So I'm going to drag this out. Come on! I'm going to drag this out to be 16 bars long. Now I could have put in a second arrangement marker and called it solo, but this is a whole cycle of chorus, this marker, 8 bars, and that is another whole cycle of chorus. That's a whole cycle of verse, that's a whole cycle of verse. The solo is going to be right across 16 bars, so that's a whole cycle of solo. Hence I'll make the solo arrangement marker a full 16 bars in length rather than 2 separate halves, because it's not 2 halves of a solo, it's a full solo across 16 bars, right? Okay, and then after that we're going to go back into the chorus to the fade out. So chorus, make sure that's chorus, 8 bars, another 8 bars, another 8 bars, another 8 bars, and we're going to fade out over the last 16 bars of chorus. So I've put my arrangement markers in now. You should have a reasonable idea of the structure of your song, but As I'll show further down this tutorial, you can move these arrangement markers around to change the arrangement order of your parts of the song any time. But we'll come to that in a bit. That we need some content underneath to show you that. Okay, so you should have a decent idea of the structure of your song. Okay, I want the intro followed by the first verse, the chorus, or whatever, and then you can always make changes to that afterwards. But that's your song, and we're going to fade it out by the end of this. So I'll bring my end marker in a bit, like that. Okay. Okay, now that's that bit done. And these markers can be coloured, so I'm going to colour them. Shift and left click to bring all the chorus ones into the selection. Bring up with the colour box with Alt C. I'm going to make my choruses blue. Then my verses, shift and left click to bring them into the selection. I'm going to make those a sort of purpley colour. My solo I'm going to make a fuchsia pink colour, and my intro section I'm going to make an orangey yellow colour. There we are. Now with them coloured it's even easier to see the sections, and so this is these arrangement markers, and they're fantastic. I'll show you more what they do later. But in essence the first thing they do is they provide you with a really easy to see structure for your song across the top, so you always know where the bloody hell you are. Do you know what I mean? Okay. But as I say, you can move the different sections around to rearrange the structure of your song, and I'll show you that later, and it moves the content underneath. Okay, so we've got the markers in, arrangement markers. We've got our tempo line set at the default we set for the song, and we've got our basic beat cycle for one cycle of our verse and chorus. You know that the verse chorus is the same length, so one cycle of playing. Okay, to do a full cycle of verse we've done the drums for it. So now what we do is we take these drums, which is a full verse cycle, 8 bars, and it's important that these are copied in exact chunks of this cycle, so they keep the same order of patterns. Yeah, copy over to the next part of the intro, then first half of the first verse, second half of the first verse, then across the chorus. Okay, now I'm going to copy one chunk over to chorus because we're going to modify this. Then the next bit over to verse, verse. Okay, and that'll do for now. Okay, now the next job to do is, as I said, at the moment the drummer is playing a simple beat. Okay, don't give them everything at once, keep it simple to start with, and this is a gentle ballad, so I've gone for a gentle drum playing a rim shot to start with. But it is natural for real musicians to then pick up the pace when they go into the chorus, and drummers will pick up the pace, and if the drummer's playing a rim shot in the verse, then when they go into the chorus more than likely they'll switch to a full snare. So we're going to now modify the chorus drums to pick them up a bit before we then copy them to the other choruses. So there's our chorus drums. Okay, now the first thing we do is get all the rim shots and move them up to a snare like that, and then increase their velocity. With the whole lot highlighted, just drag up the velocity and it'll drag the velocity up for all of them. Put the velocity up to 90 something, not too loud. Okay, so the chorus now, you'll come from a rim shot in the verse into a snare in the chorus. And actually that snare needs to be a bit louder because it's not that much louder than the rim shot. So again, push it up louder. 106, let's try that. Better. Okay, snares in the chorus. Let's add some additional kicks to push the song along. Well, that's what a drummer would do. They would push the song along a bit harder in the chorus by adding in more kicks or other drums. So I'm going to go with like ba, boom, ba, boom, ba. We got the boom, boom, ba, boom, boom, ba. Well, let's try a double on the kicks. Boom, ba, and boom, boom, there, like that. Boom, 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 ba, boom, boom, ba, boom, 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 ba, boom, boom, ba, boom, boom. Yeah, like that. Oops, I haven't got the last pattern covered. Okay, so there's our drums now with augmented kicks. Okay, we've got extra kicks in because it's natural that a drum will start putting more drums in the chorus, and we've switched from a rim shot to a snare for the chorus. Ba, boom, boom, 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 ba, boom. Right, so there's my augmented chorus drums, which I shall now copy over to the other half of that first chorus, then across to the next chorus, both cycles of it, like that. And I'm going to keep that snare and more picked up drums across my solo, because we don't want to drop back for the solo on this. I don't want it to drop back to a quieter beat. And then we're going to keep that same drums, of course, across the final choruses to the fade out. Okay, so there's our augmented chorus drums. Drummers always pick up and play more drums in the chorus, and they'll switch from a rim shot to a snare, etc. Alright? Okay, that's the drums copied all the way across, with the augmented extra kicks and switching to the snare in the chorus so the choruses pick up. Okay, now, as well as playing more drums in a chorus, drummers tend to pick up, play more drumming. You know, they'll add in extra drums, play more kicks, whatever. The other thing that we'll remember, again, what are we doing with this demo? We're seeking to make an impression of a band playing the song, so people can hear what it'd be like, with an arrangement behind it. Okay, so what is the other thing musicians do when they come to a chorus? Well, the other thing they do is they speed up, and that's why we are going to use this tempo track. Okay, now the tempo line, of course, as I said, is going across at the default tempo you set for the song. But musicians, when they get to a chorus, they go, you know, the end of the verse comes, and they go into the chorus, and they pick up the speed a bit. Musicians always pick up the speed when they come into a chorus and play the chorus, then they slow back down again when they come out of the chorus into the next verse. So there's the line of our default tempo, which in this song is 120. So we get the pencil tool and we put a node in exactly on the bar line at the beginning of the chorus, and it needs to be, the node we put in needs to be exactly the same value as the default tempo for your song. In this case 120, so when I put this node in it should be exactly the same as the starting node, 120. Okay, so exactly on the bar line at the beginning of the chorus I put in a node at the default tempo, there we are, 120, and then one at the end, exactly on the line where the chorus joins the verse, exactly on the bar line, again at the default tempo, boom, 120 in this case. Okay, then for the next chorus, same thing, a node at the default tempo at the beginning and the end of the chorus, and then at the end of the solo on the first bar line of the final chorus to the outro, again at the default tempo. And now we're going to put some tempo changes in, and as I said, we're, you know, real drummers and real musicians will pick up the pace and play slightly faster in choruses and then slow back down, so we can imitate that using these tempo changes, and that gives our song more life. It stops the song from being this robotic, you know, click, continual, exactly the same tempo all the way through. It just gives the choruses more life. Okay, so we get the line across the chorus section between the two nodes and we push it up just a couple of beats, 2 or 3 beats. So I'm putting it up to 122. Okay, don't push it up by, like, you know, 6, 7 or 8 beats a minute. It'll sound ridiculously faster, subtly faster, just 2 or 3 beats per minute faster. So the chorus is going to be at 122. Then at the end of the chorus, look, at the end of the chorus the tempo drops back down to 120, the default. Then at the next chorus we push the line up by 2 beats or 3 beats again to 122 in this case, 2 beats faster. So the next chorus could be 2 beats faster. There goes an army helicopter. I don't know what's going on, but I live right near Buckingham Palace, and there's been a army helicopter going overhead around this time of day, every day now, all week. Don't know what it's about. Okay, so we come out of the chorus, which is at the increased tempo of 122, but actually when we go into the solo, I want to keep that faster tempo, so I push the solo tempo line up as well. So the solo will continue at the faster tempo of 122. I don't want to slow back down for the solo. And then when we get to the final chorus, because I want that to sound like it picks up again, I'm going to push the beat up another 2 beats to 124. So now what we've got is our intro and verse are at 120. Then the song speeds up to 122 for the chorus, drops back down to 120 beats per minute for the verse, speeds back up to 122 for the chorus, keeps that tempo of 122 across the solo, and then picks up the tempo to 124, another 2 beats per minute for the final chorus all the way to the outro. And now we put our tempo changes in. Okay? And now that those tempo changes are in, that's all the sort of procedure to get ourselves going. Okay? We've got a full cycle of our drum beat, 8 bars in this case, making one complete cycle of verse, copied across the whole song. And for the chorus 8 bar cycles, we've switched from a rim shot to a snare drum and added extra kick drum beats in, so that the chorus drumming is not only going to be faster than the verses, but it's got more kicks and it switches to a snare from a rim shot and then back to the rim shot for the verse. But we could change that, we could make the second verse stay on the snare. It depends on what we decide to do with the arrangement, okay, but there we are. Okay, now that's the first part of the procedure. And now that we've done all this, including putting in the tempo changes, we can now get a guide guitar down. So we make a track, an audio track, choose a channel strip preset. I haven't got all the presets content downloaded, so there's not much content. I'm going to go with natural strum. Okay, 1 2 1 2. Oh dear, we've got the crackling audio bug in Logic. To reboot Logic. This is a bug in Logic. You get this crackling audio and you simply reboot the program and it goes away. So I'll have to save this. Hang on. Save. Logic song. Okay, there's the song. You know, you watch that crackling audio will be not there just by rebooting the program. 1 2 3. See, nothing wrong with my audio interface. It's a bug in Logic, a temporary bug. Logic is riddled with temporary bugs. Okay. So now we will put down our guide guitar. And by the way, I'm going to have to shut the window for this because there's building work as usual going on nearby. This is London. There is nowhere in London where you are not listening to building work nowadays, so I'll have to shut the window. Okay, let's get the guide guitar down. Now, we want the drums to be much louder than they'd really be in the mix for this, so we can really hear the drums to play along to, okay? And of course the guitar has to be in tune. But this is just a guide guitar. You do not need to go to any trouble miking it up. I'm just playing into the mic I'm talking on. Okay, I'm not miking up properly or anything like that, as long as I'm in tune. And it's just a guide guitar I'm putting down, so I'm going to use copy and paste techniques to save time. Sure, we've got a count in. Here we go. Record ready. 1 2 3 4. There we are, there's one cycle of my playing, which is of course the same for the second cycle. Now, you will have overspilled a little bit when you hit stop, so put the snap into bar or beat and make sure snap regions to absolute value is ticked, and drag this edge back and snap it exactly so this region is 8 bars long. Snap the end of that bit of audio exactly to the end of the bar, right, and then drag it over and double it, and we've got our intro. Here we go. Oh dear. That didn't work very well, did it? What the bloody hell happened there? Let's do that again, delete that from the disk. Okay, take 4. I didn't do that very well. Let's do it again. and just play over a little bit, and then with this in snap regions time suit value and in beat or bar, just drag that bit of overspill before you hit stop back and snap it exactly to the end of the cycle. So there's one cycle of the guitar playing. Then we can copy that over to the verse because it's exactly the same playing in the verse and it's the same tempo. So we've got our verse, our intro and verse now. Then out of the intro into the verse. Right, now we've got to put the chorus audio in, and the chorus is faster at 122. So even though it's the same chord sequence across the chorus, we can't drag this audio across and copy it to there, because this bit of audio, even though it's the same chord sequence, was recorded over the verse section at a lower tempo. So if we put that bit of audio over there, it's at a faster tempo. This bit of audio won't fit, be too long. Okay, so we need to drop in the chorus. So now we bring in a function of Logic. On this grey top bar here, right click and choose Customize Control Bar and Display, and make sure Auto Punch here is ticked. Auto Punch, OK it, and then when you click the Auto Punch icon that's appeared there, a new lane appears across the ruler area, which is the Auto Punch lane. So drag, just like you do with the cycle range, right? Drag across. You can drag the front in and out and the back in and out, and drag the cycle range, look, so that the red line goes across one cycle of the chorus, exactly 8 bars. Right, and then put the player just in front of that bit and hit record, and when Logic gets to that red line it will go into record, keep recording, and then drop out of record at the end of the red line, and we'll get a piece of audio exactly 8 bars long. So I'll now put in the chorus guitar, which is at a slightly faster tempo. Here we go. Done, and there's no need to trim the end because using this punch in and out line, Logic drops in and out, recording exactly 8 bars, and then we just copy that over to the second cycle of the chorus. And now we have our chorus coming out of the verse. Okay, now we then drop to the next verse and we drop the tempo down back to the original tempo of 120. So we can use the verse audio here and copy that across. It's the same tempo and the same playing. Then we take the chorus here, this audio at 122, we can copy that to the next chorus because it's also 122 and the same playing. Okay, and then we're going to keep that same playing for the solo, which is at the same tempo of 122. And then finally we've got to drop in the chorus for the end section because it's at 124 tempo. It goes up another 2 beats, so this audio won't fit. It's recorded at 122 this, and the final chorus plays out at 124. It picks up the tempo for the final chorus to 124. So again, drag a drop in or punch in out marker exactly across one 8-bar full cycle of the chorus. Like that, look. Put the player just in front of it. Let's, whoops. That red line is exactly covering 8 bars of the chorus. Put the player in front of it and let's drop in the final bit of guitar cycle for the chorus. Here we go. There we are, and again, because we did the punching out, which is exactly 8 bars in length, we get exactly 8 bars of audio, and I need to trim the end back. Und we just copy this across. There we are, and there's the chorus. Let's check the join. Yeah, lovely. Copy the whole thing over. Bish bash bosh, lovely jubbly, done and dusted, and we don't need this punching out lane anymore. And there's the chorus audio all the way to the end. And so what have we got? Well, we've achieved the first part of the procedure. Okay, we have set the tempo, starting tempo, the original tempo of the song, 120. We've set the end markers, so we've got enough record time. We put our arrangement markers in to give us the basic structure of the song, which we can, if we like, change, but this is kind of the structure of the song as we've got it. We then created one full guitar cycle of one full cycle of the song drum beat that plays a beat that empathizes with the rhythm of the strumming but isn't too busy, and has a little motif at the end to resolve the whole section of that drumming, like the boom boom bat and boom boom and back to the beginning again. And then that was copied across again for the second 8 bars of the intro, then for the 16 bars of the verse, 2 sections of 8. Then in the chorus we used the same drums, but we switched the rim shot to the snare to augment the drums, to give them more energy in the chorus as the drummer would do, and we added in additional kicks. And then copied that across to the next section of chorus. Then we drop back to the verse, and again we drop back to the less busy drum pattern with the rim shot. Then we pick up the drums again for the kicks and the snares across the chorus, and change tempo as well. We keep the more busy drum pattern across the solo and across the choruses to the end. And when we did that, once we've got that done, we get down our guide guitar so we know where we are in the song. And that's the end of part 1. Okay, that's the end of the first bit, and we're sort of on our way to getting our arrangement together. Okay, now what's next? Okay, let me just take a little breather here. Okay, pardon me, just had a nice big brunch. I just had homemade potato cakes made with new potatoes and leeks. Oh, lovely. Fried till they had a crispy surface on them in olive oil with some free range nice yolky eggs. Drool. Right, but it's making me burp a bit. Right, so what's the next stage? Okay, well the next stage is the drums just go boom bam boom bam boom bam all the way through. Yeah, they pick up in the chorus and get busier, but that's all done. But there are no drum rolls, right? So the next thing we want to do is work on our transitions for the drums. Sure. When the drummer gets to the end of the intro section, they're going to do a drum roll into the verse. Okay, this is normal. Okay, and then when they get to the end of the verse, they're going to do a drum roll into the chorus, and then when they get to the end of the chorus, they're going to do a drum roll out of the chorus back into the verse, etc. At the end of each section, the drummer will do a roll across 1 or 2 of the final bars into the next section. Right, so what we're going to do is this: highlight that pattern, or those 2 patterns actually, the last 2 patterns of the intro section, okay, and glue them together. Okay, same in the verse here, last 2 patterns, glue them together. Same at the end of the chorus, last 2 patterns, undo, last 2 patterns, glue them together. Deselect, last 2 patterns of the next verse. Okay, the way you glue them together is in this, if they're all block to block like that, is you use the glue tool, click on one, hold down shift, click on the next one, and they glue together. Okay, then de-highlight. Okay, then at the end of the chorus, the last 2 patterns, glue those together, de-highlight. At the end of the solo, the last 2 patterns, shift and left click, joined, de-highlight. And then, well, we can copy and paste across to that last bit, right? Okay. So if we zoom out now, you can see that these large double bars at the end of each section, they're quite easy to see. Oh, I screwed that one up. No! I screwed them all up. What have I done? Hang on. Undo, 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 undo. I screwed some of them up. Glued the wrong two together. Oh, how stupid am I? Right, let's do that again. Copy that. Copy that across. Last bit of audio. I undid that by mistake. Zoom in again. Sorry. It should be that and that pattern should be glued together. The last two patterns of the intro. Then here, that and that, the last two patterns of the verse. Or is this a Logic Zoom graphic bug? No, that is correct. Then here, the last two patterns of the chorus. Here, the last two patterns of the verse. Here, the last two patterns of the next chorus. And here, the last two patterns of the solo. And then we'll copy over to the final chorus. Okay, yeah, that's correct. So you can see that these double patterns, it's very easy to see that they're the roll patterns. They're at the end of the verse, the chorus, the solo, etc. Right? And of course at the end of the intro. Okay, so each section ends with a double length pattern in which we're going to put our drum rolls. Okay, so let's go and put a drum roll into the end of the intro. Put a cycle range across the final two bars. Look at it in the editor. The drums. Okay. Okay, there they are. Now, why did I make it 2 bars? Well, although the drum will do most of the roll in the final bar over the last 4 beats, we might need the pattern in front of it, because often a drum will do a little transitional couple of licks or something into that final bar where the roll is. Okay. Now, if you don't know anything about drumming, you don't play or anything, one way to make rolls is this. You take the hi-hat, because these are keeping the time, right, and you push on the first beat of the bar for the final bar, because this is the final bar, that's the bar before it, right. Take the hi-hat on the first beat of the bar and push it up to a tom or something. Like that. And then the next hi-hat to a lower tom, and the next one to a lower tom again. So like that. And all I've done is I've simply moved the hi-hats that were playing on the quarter beats up to the toms. Take out that rim shot and turn the guitar down a bit. Okay, now I might just leave this like that. It's very simple. I want a very simple roll going from the intro into the verse, because don't give them everything at once. We don't want the drummer, you know, if I was playing drums on this track, it's a slow ballad, a gentle ballad. I'm not going to come in and do a roll like I'm playing along in the intro and I'm going boom. I'm playing like boom, boom. And I'm not suddenly going to do a roll at the end of the intro going blah 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 like that, some bloody great metal roll or something. Keep it simple and subtle for the initial kind of thing, and build, you know. But the first roll from the intro into the verse is going to be very subtle, so I'm just going to pump them up slightly in velocity, 3 toms. Okay, so we've got a simple boom, 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 like. But I want to put a double dum dum just there on that final tom. Okay, so I'll get the pencil tool and put in a note. And I want it between the 2 bar lines because it needs a bit of a swing on it. So the 2 division lines, right? I'm dragging it back, look, to be not on the beat but between the 2 divisions, so I get bum ba dum like that. And let's hear that. Fit the cycle range. Yeah, nice little gentle roll. Boom, boom. So I'll get boom boom at the end. Boom ba dum. And then the kick. Boom 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 boom. Okay, that's an easy way to make a drum roll. Just push the hi-hats up to toms, and experiment like that, and maybe add in an extra tom to give it a little double, you know, boom, boom, dum, dum, dum. Right, okay, done. That is fine. Don't overdo that first roll. It's a very gentle song, this, and we want a gentle roll transitioning out of the intro into the verse, because we're saving up, you know, we're not overdoing it at the beginning. Build the song, build the song. Never give them everything at once. Bring in things as you go along. Don't give them everything in your bag at once. That's the golden rule in producing, right, and arranging. Okay, now we go across to the next roll pattern there. Now, a way to save time, okay, is because the intro beat is the same as the verse beat, right? So I can delete this double there, copy the roll I've already created for the end of the intro across to there, because it's the same beat inside each pattern, right? Because the intro section for drumming is the same as the verse section for drumming. So just copy the roll I've created over to the end of the verse, and now I can modify it to make a slightly different roll, because the drummer will not play the same roll every time. But I don't want to go mad with this second roll either. We're just coming out of the first verse into the first chorus. So I'll put a little snare there, like that. And a little pre-snare in front of it, but again it needs to be off the beat with swing on it in the middle of the two division lines. Drop its velocity down, so a little grace note on the snare, so it goes ba-da, boom, 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 boom. Fine, perfect, that'll do. That'll do, pig. Don't overdo it. Reet! Next we go to the chorus. We're going to make a drum roll coming out of the chorus. Move the cycle range across to this 2 bars, and at the end of the chorus, let's see what we got. Same technique. Push up, or I'll go for a snare maybe again. Drop the velocity of the pre-notes down. What I'm going to do with this one is going to push these heights up again, and that one. And I'm going to put in a little double in front of this tom. We're going to need swing on it like that. Bo-da, boom, boom. And then a double here as well. Like that. Now, if you've got 2 notes going dudum, dudum, like dudum there and whoops. Going dudum there and dudum, dum there. The pre-note, the one in front, wants to be slightly less velocity. That's just how a drummer does it. It'll be less velocity into a louder velocity. Do-dum, do-dum, you know. Let's try that. And another thing, actually I'll save that other technique. I'll show you another technique that drummers do sometimes for the next chorus ending. Okay, right. Okay, now then there's the roll at the end of the second verse. Okay, we'll take the roll from here and copy it to there and then modify it. So delete that, take the roll from the end of the first verse, Alt, drag it across. Let's modify that. Don't want to go mad with it, here we go. I'm going to make the drummer do a little shuffle thing here. But with doing the shuffle off very gentle snares. So I put 3 little pre-shuffle snares with a low velocity in, so they're just little drags the drummer's doing like this, but like this. Here we go. Yeah? Okay, that's that one, and then at the end of this chorus we'll copy the pattern here, the roll we made here at the end of the first chorus. We're going to copy it over to there and modify it. So we take this roll pattern for the end of that chorus, delete it and copy this one across, Alt, drag, copy it across. Let's modify that, and now I'll do the hi-hat slice thing here. I was going to show you a little technique. Drummers roll off the hi-hat. They will do that a lot. They'll go they'll just roll off and open the hi-hat, right? So, and they might roll off that hi-hat like that, yeah, or they might do a Charlie Watts and roll off the snare on hi-hat on the 3 like that. And you can either choke that hi-hat slice down by leaving that closed hi-hat in, which shuts the open hi-hat down like that, or take that one out so the sustain of the hi-hat just carries on. But I'm going to keep in the choking closed hi-hat to keep the quarter beats. So we need a different roll here, a really loud high tom, ba-dam, like that. Put the velocity right up. But then that, ba-dum, ba-da, but, and I want that to be a loud snare. Let's try that. Maybe not. Whoops. Oh dear me, no. Let's try that. Whoops. Let's try that. Well, this could be a double open hi-hat push, like that. Yeah, whatever. Okay, I'll put in 4 kicks here, so the drum's going kick, 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 kick over that last bit, as well as doing the lick. Here we go. Fine, that'll do. You can modify these afterwards if you want to, when you hear it more in context. Okay, and then I'll put the roll from the end of that chorus there, the first chorus. I'm going to put it at the end of the solo, so there's the roll pattern for the end of the solo. Delete it, and I'll drag over and copy that roll at the end of the very first chorus. Drag it over with a copy, there we are, and let's modify that roll at the end of the solo. There we go. Let's make a double bap there, like that. Fine, that'll do. And then we'll take the final pattern from the end of that chorus, copy it across to this. Look, there's the last two patterns there of that chorus on the outro section. Delete that, bring this pattern over that roll pattern there, drop it in. Let's just modify that. So at the end here, the drummer's doing a little shuffle thing on the drums. He's dragging across the snare, like that. Okay. I'm going to put these between the division lines because this particular song, the drum rolls require that swing for some of the notes. But if you're doing a different song, you might not need these swing notes at all between division lines. You can do all your drum rolls on the lines, you know. So a little shuffle going on there, right? Right, and yeah, I'll keep those two open hi-hat slices in. No, I'll just have one, just so it's different. There, you can always change that later, but there you go, there's the rolls done. So that's the next step done. We've made transitional rolls out of each section into the next section. Okay, now the next thing is we want crashes. Okay, now I don't like to put my crashes in the patterns of the actual drum playing. So I'll get this drum track, highlight it, duplicate the drum track, and call the first one my kit, and the second one I'm going to call crashes. Okay, and then I can have crashes on their own patterns, so there'll be a little crash out of the intro. No, there won't. Oh, there could be. Well, there's going to be a crash on the first beat of the bar of the chorus. So I'll make a little one bar pattern on the beginning of the first chorus on the crash track and put in a crash. There are two crashes for every kit. There's one crash. So we got the roll. You get the roll coming out into the crash like this. Like this. Sorry. Yeah? Okay, so then after the chorus I'm going to have a crash at the beginning of the verse there, and I can modify this. I've copied the pattern over, I'm going to push this up to the second crash. Okay, so we get a roll coming out of the chorus into the verse with a crash at the beginning of the verse. But a different crash. Okay, then copy the other crash across to the beginning of the next chorus, and the other second crash across to the beginning of the solo section, and then the other crash across to the beginning of the chorus section, and then the other crash over to the beginning of the last chorus section, like that. Now then we can go in and modify our crashes. So look, there's the crash track, open the drum kit, crashes, okay. Right crash, left crash. So you can make your crashes tune differently. If you want, you can dampen them down so they sustain as long. Sorry. Yeah, that's the dampening. You can even make them choke. Right? So dampen them down a little bit, maybe, so they don't sustain too long if you want to. Like that. Make it change the gain as well, whatever. Alright, shop. We've got the drum rolls now followed by crashes for every single transitional section. If I wanted to, I could have a crash at the beginning of the verse, a very gentle crash. Oh, God almighty, I don't want everything to copy. I haven't fixed the preferences yet. There's a preference where you can make it so that when you highlight a track, it doesn't highlight all the regions on that track. I haven't fixed that yet in this Logic. I haven't set that as a preference. Right, yeah, so let's have a very gentle crash at the beginning of the verse there. I'll make it very subtle, look. Like this. Mama, take this badge off of me. Okay, so there we are. Now we've done part 2. We've now built all our rolls and put in any crashes at the beginning of the next sections. Now, at this point, your drums should be at about 90-something%. Near as damn it right. Of course, you will probably go and tweak some things here and there as you listen to the final mix before rendering it. Okay? And you can always modify little bits and bobs as you go along. But your drums at this point should be 98-96%. Near as damn it done right. And you've got your guide guitar down. Okay, so now I'm going to put down a guide vocal, just so we've got a guide vocal. Make a new track, audio, choose a child strip preset. Again, I have not downloaded all the content, there's not a lot of choice. I'll go for natural vocal. 1, 2, oh yeah. Okay, now I'm not a singer, but I'm going to put down a guide vocal. And again, if you're writing a demo song and you're looking to recruit a singer, don't, you know, unless you're an absolutely appalling singer, it doesn't matter if you're not that great a singer, you're just getting the idea down so you can get people interested. But if you're preparing your songs to send to anybody in the business, like a publisher or something, it is worth getting someone on it you can sing. Get a session singer on it to represent the song well. Okay, so I'm going to put down the vocal, and I just need to play it just in front of the verse. I don't need to record over the intro, right? And let's get down a guide vocal. Mama, take this badge off of me. Can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Right, that'll do, and then I can chop it. Chop, chop, which is the dog in Grand Theft Auto 5. Come on, chap, where is he, boy? Find that motherfucker. Right, here we go. Knock, knock, knock. Now I can copy the audio from this chorus across to this chorus because they're the same tempo, but I cannot copy the audio for the chorus over to the final choruses because it's a faster tempo, so I've got to record that from scratch. So put the player just a bit in front. We don't need the punching thing because there's nothing in front of this that I need to drop in immediately after, so I just put the player in front of the chorus and get the final chorus down, which is at a faster tempo. Hence we can't just copy the other one over. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. 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 Right, there you go, and then just copy and snap that to the very beginning of the bar. Copy it over, Alt drag, bish bash bosh. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Alright, we've got the guide vocal down. I'm not a great singer, but you get the idea, right? And obviously, as I said, if you are preparing a demo to go off to somebody who might be interested in the songs from a business point of view, like sending it off to a band or a publisher for a particular band, you know, I've written this song which could be really good for your band X, and believe you me, people have been signed and made careers out of doing that, like targeting a specific boy band or girl band or lead or vocalist and sending a song to their publisher saying, I wrote this song, or I think this song is good for your act. It has happened. So anyway, in which case, if you're doing something like that, yes, pay a vocalist who has a voice in the style of the singer that you're seeking to pump the song to. Okay. But anyway, there we go. We are now at the end of stage 2. We've got our drums at 90 something %. They're near as damn it done. We've got our guide vocal and guide guitar down. Okay, that's it, and we now have a representation of the song. Alright, etc. Now, the next thing is usually a bass. Now, I played a bass. I've got a bass over in the corner there actually. Where is it? Come here. Yeehaw! Hang on a sec. I've got a bass here. My old Aria. I've got an old 80s Aria. It's a bit ugly, but it's got a lovely sound, lovely sound. And yes, I do play the bass, right? But it is more likely that I will use a software instrument bass. When I'm composing bass to go with a demo, I tend to use a software instrument bass, and then I may put a real bass on it in the future. Unless specifically the song revolves around like a specific bass line that can only be achieved playing a real bass, like such as a slap funk bass line or something like that. Right? So there's nothing wrong with using a software instrument bass, so let's get a bass down. Right, so new track. We're a regular software instrument track. I have not got all the content downloaded. So I haven't got much choice, but I'm going to go with pick bass. It's quite trebly, and there's nothing wrong with using a different bass to compose your bass parts with. Because often the thing about bass is that if it's a soft mellow bass, it's very hard to hear the pitch when you're working down in the bass registers, so it doesn't matter if it's a bit more trebly. Or even you can compose your bass in a higher octave and then drag it down just to make it easier to hear the pitch. That's another technique you can do. Compose your bass lines, your bass patterns in a higher octave where it's very easy to hear the pitch, then drag them down to the lower bass octave when they're done. So a bass pattern. I'll start off with 4 bars. rather than a one little bar chunk. Put a cycle range over the intro, 4 bars like that, and let's have a look. Bass. Now again, remembering the golden rule: don't give the buggers everything at once. Yeah, you build a song like you make love to a beautiful woman, bit by bit, right? You don't just jump in and start banging away, you know. Even in love, climb on board, bang, 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 and then, you know, no. Okay, don't give them everything at once, build it bit by bit. So, initially I would just play simple drone sustained notes, like boom, 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 or something like that. So we're in G. So, as I say, there's nothing wrong with doing your bass in a quite a high octave to hear the pitch. Just put the bass up a bit. D, yeah. And then to an A, and you can either drop to the lower A, like that. Or you could start on a lower A G I mean, like that, and go. And I'm going to actually leave it to that. And to end the bass line, I'm going to do a simple 4 little pushes, bum, 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 like that. But it's going to go bum, 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 like that. Okay, and then copy that over. Like that, and of course the second half has to go to a C. So I can either go up to a high C, up there, or I can go to a low C there, or an even higher C, like that. It's up to you, but I'm going to go to that one. Right, done. One cycle of intro. Copy it over, there's my intro done. Alright. Let's see the whole thing. Okay, that's that. And now, let's hide the editor for a minute. And now I'll copy over the whole lot there to the verse, because keep it simple. Don't give them everything at once. We've got the bass and the guitar over the intro. When the verse comes in, we're adding another instrument, the vocal. So no need to go mad picking up the bass and making that go a little bit busier, because the secret of arranging and producing, right, is, as I said, don't give them everything once. You build it, you bring things in bit by bit, right? So the intro section is the guitar and the vocal, and the guitar and the bass. But so even though the bass is the same when we go into the verse, we are adding an additional instrument, the vocal, which adds or keeps the interest. So there's no need necessarily to pick up the bass in the verse. You may, but there's no need to. Mama, take this badge off of me. Can't use it anymore. dark, too dark to see. I feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Now, but we will have a different climb at the end of the bass in the verse into the chorus. We're going to do a climb up into the chorus, which builds the climb will build the tension into the chorus. Okay, so we're just cycling around the last 2 bars of the. So I just want the last 2 bars of the bass at the end of the verse, going into the first chorus. Like that. Right, and then let's copy over the pattern to the chorus, the first cycle of that pattern, the first 2, one full cycle of the verse bass over 16 bars. There we are. Sorry, over 8 bars. So we copied the verse bass across to the chorus. Now let's look at the 2 where we come out of the climb in the bass verse into the the verse bass into the chorus bass. I've got this climb at the end of the verse bass, and then it drops down to the very low G again, but we could go up to a higher. We're going to go up to a higher G now, so it comes out of that climb do 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 to the higher G. Knock 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 knocking on heaven's door. And this I'm going to put up. Let's try it there. Knock, knocking on heaven's door. Yes, you see. Now we're lifting the bass to a higher octave for the final lick, the A's and the G and the C's. Okay, lifting it in the chorus. The bass is going up higher now to give it more emphasis, more power. Again, it's adding interest. We're changing something in the chorus because we've already got the vocal and the guitar in, and so we need something here to pick up. And we'll do that to keep the interest by changing our bass line to be more, to be up in a higher octave to give it more power and emphasis, and the speed tempo and the drums picking up. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Yeah, and the other thing that I could do now I'm into the bass. For the verse, the chorus, sorry, is let's have one cycle completely in the editor, is I could add in extra notes to the bass as well, just to also change it. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. So I could put a double push there to go with the kick drum, the double kick drum. Oops, like that. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Yeah, could do that. To make that less of a gap. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock. And then up. And then do the double push on that one as well. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking. Okay, so there we go. And the other thing I could do is we got that ba-dum bum groove kind of going on, but knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. So I could put a little grace note in there. Like like this to go dum 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 like that. Look, watch. It goes in between the two division lines to make the little swing skip. Okay, and then reduce its velocity down a bit, and then drag the other one just like that, and we'll get boom, 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 boom like that.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Here it comes. Like that, yeah? So I've got ba-bum, bum, 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 little extra. Okay, then for the second half.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
And again, I could put the little skip note in there as well. Again, it's got to go just in between the division lines to give the swing. So, like that.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
And Logic decides to glitch like buggery now. Let me just close these gaps a bit.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
And then just drop the velocity of that little skip note down. Right, there we go. And then just double that over. Okay, let's hear the second half of the chorus.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock.
Come on, and the second half.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Now we want to climb down out of the chorus. Like that.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Okay, and then back into the verse. So get the verse, copy the whole lot over. There we go. Next verse. Let's see that transition from the chorus into the verse.
Mama, put these guns in the ground.
Yeah, lovely, that'll do. Let's see that whole section. It'll go to the climb into the chorus again at the end.
Mama, put these guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore. That long black cloud is coming on down. Feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door.
Right, and then into the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Copy the chorus across. Let's see that. The transition.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Okay, and just to slightly alter the last little lick there, going into the solo and make it so it's different. The climb here, I'm going to go boo doo doo dum 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 there, like one thing you can do is if you just legato these notes a little bit, that means where you just drag them so they fractionally overlap, like that. No, overlap where they change pitch, I mean. Then go to the bass and just put up a little bit of glide, which is portmanteau, and then it'll slur these licks. The more glide you put on, listen. Yeah, so not much. Just enough glide or portmanteau just to slur them licks together. Alright, and then I'll go back and do the same thing with that lick there. There. Playhead. Thank you. Just a fraction of overlap, just for the climb notes, so they slur together. Yeah, like that, and then the same on that. Little lick there. And that one, so it overlaps. Only a tiny bit of overlap, yeah. Just a tiny bit. A few ticks. And that'll slur as well. Here we go, listen. It just makes it less dun 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 dun. It just kind of goes like that instead. And I'll do the same thing on that lick there at the end of that verse, that climb. There, look. Make them just legato, just by a few ticks. You get a little bit of. Just makes the little climbs like a bit more as a finger bass player would do it. Okay, that's that. We've done that one. We've done that one for the slurs. We've done that one for the slurs, haven't we? Or did we? Yeah, we did that one. Yeah, and this one, we did that, didn't we? Yep, okay, so that's that. And then we're just going to copy the chorus space across the solo. And then chorus space across the chorus. Now obviously you would go in and work on the bass a bit more than I'm doing here. Okay, but there you go. That's it, done. That's the end of the next bit. Okay, so obviously you'd work on your bass properly to get it as good as you can get it. And now when you finish this next stage, you should have your drums at 96, 7, 8%, almost completely right. You'll go in and tweak things, no doubt, when you're listening to the final mix. And you should have your bass at 90-something%. Again, you might go in and tweak things here and there, but it's essentially done. And that's the end of that. And now you've got the core of everything working, right? It's all together. Guide vocal, guide guitar down. And now, what people will do at this point is, you've got two choices. You can either now mic up your guitar properly and get down a properly recorded guitar, including any double tracking, because you can record the guitar exactly the same across two tracks, which makes the guitar sound fuller. Okay. It also irons out any little tiny timing mistakes or anything like that, because two guitars playing, each one subtly masks any tiny little errors that the other one might be doing, right? But you could double track the guitar. But the point is, once you've got your bass, your drums and your bass pretty much done to the guide vocal and guitar, at this point you can now, if you want to, put down a proper guitar recording. Take the time to mic the guitar up properly, get it tuned properly, practice it and get a good take down, and with a double track as well if you want. And then if you want, you can put down a good lead vocal. Some people like to leave that till the very end when the full arrangement's done and sing the final vocal with the full arrangement in the headphones. Okay, but at this point you can do those things. But the point is, your drums and bass should be pretty much there. But I'm not going to go into too much detail tweaking the drums and bass because of the length of the video, right? But you know, now we're getting there, right?
job for me. I can't use it anymore.
Now, of course, at any time you can go, you know, I'm going to try a different bass. So I'll try the upright studio bass. It's a double bass, bloody hard to program because the notes are quite dull. But now we've actually made the bass line, let's see that double bass playing it.
It's getting dark, too dark.
Just going to increase the release a bit.
To see. I feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Yeah, it's quite nice that bass, right?
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
You could try the muted electric bass, you know.
Mama, put these guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore.
Whatever you like, okay? Obviously, if you had more content downloaded, there'd be more choices. But I'm actually going to go, I think, with the upright bass.
There's long black clouds coming on down. Feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Change the kick drum.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Okay, let's now. That's it. As I said, we've got the basics together, and you would now, if you wanted to, put your guitar down properly. Okay, just to show you where we would go from here. Obviously, you would put your guitar down properly, including a double track if required. Now we need a solo, so I'm going to just whack a quick solo over there, just so we can show some other stuff. Including showing you these arrangement markers, changing the arrangement, okay, but which we'll do once we've got the content in. So go to the guitar track, let's duplicate it. Okay, and I'm going to put down take the input monitor off these two. Put this into record ready. La 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 la. Yeah, let's put a solo down. Put the playhead just in front. I need to use the drop in, and I'll attempt to pull a solo out of the bag. I have not practiced a solo for this, so here we go.
Knocking on heaven's door.
Yeah, that'll do, pig, that'll do, right?
Knocking on heaven's door.
Okay, right, so, and you get your main guitar down properly, you'd get your solo down properly. Again, you may not want to do your vocals yet until, not like proper vocal, not the guide, until you've got the icing on the cake stuff done. Now, obviously, you've got BVs to put in, you've got your ad-lib vocals to put in over the outro. You might have ad-lib vocals going, you know, knocking on heaven's door, knock, knock, knocking, or whatever, and little guitar licks here and there, like, you know, out of the intro, you might have some guitar licks, you know, kind of going like this.
Mama, take this badge up for me.
Do 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 do. You know, you put your little extra licks in and things like that, and your BVs and stuff, right? But let's do one icing on the cake thing, just to show you a little bit more kind of arrangement producing theory. A string part. Okay, now again, it's this whole thing of don't give them everything at once. As I said, we start with the intro. We've got the drums, but playing with the rim shot, less kicks, and the guitar and the bass. When we come to the first verse, we're adding in a vocal. That keeps the interest, okay? It builds the interest. A new thing comes in. Then we get to the chorus. Okay, now at this point, the new thing that comes in is, of course, the vocal changes to the chorus vocal. The tempo picks up a bit, the drumming picks up a bit, switches to the snare from the rim shot and adds more kicks in. So all that adds something, so the chorus again adds something. Then we come out of the chorus and we drop back down to the verse, and it's there that I would put in my first string part. So that when the second verse comes in, it's the same as the first one, you see, except the lyrics are different. So I'd add in now something new to keep the interest building. This is an arrangement technique. It's very standard. So I'd bring in a drone string on the second verse. So make a new track. Software instrument. I do not have the content, as I say, downloaded fully yet, so there's not much choice, but I'm going to go for the orchestral string ensemble. Okay, now I'd use, as I say, I'll just put a drone in here over the second verse. So let's highlight a whole, or cycle a whole section of verse, a whole 8 bars. Put in a region down here and drag it out to be a full 8 bars. Now, you don't necessarily need to have a lot of musical knowledge to do this, but what we're going to attempt to do is find a harmony note, if we can, that will sustain across that. The point about having a drone string coming in here is that we do not want to make it busy, so the strings aren't going to go do, 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 all across this bit. We want as few note changes as possible across the strings here, because we're just bringing in a subtle background drone to build the interest across the verse. Okay, so now the song is in G, so if I start with a G as an experiment, and I am not, although I'm a pretty good musician, if I say so myself, I'm not bad, you know, but I'm not fantastically skilled in musical theory. You know, I can't read music. Well, I can a little bit. If I practice reading music, play guitar pieces like, you know, classical Spanish guitar pieces, and I keep at it for 6 months, I'll start to read the notes again. Yeah, but it's something you got to practice all the time, and I'm not big on musical theory. I never studied music at college or anything like that. Not music, okay, in terms of notes, scales and modes and all that. So look, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try G. Let's hear that.
Mama, put these guns in the ground.
Now, that could work.
Mama, put these guns in the ground.
Okay, let's try something else. Let's try changing it there. Go up to the C. Sorry, D. Let's see what happens there. So from the G to the D.
Mama, put these guns in the ground.
No, it didn't work, did it?
Mama, put these guns in the ground.
Okay, so I'm going to go from the G opening chord, so G note, up to an A. Although the next chord is D in the sequence, the A harmonises with the D, and then the song changes to an A. So that A is going to sustain all the way to the end. So I've got this.
Mama,
See, and that note sustains over both the chords D and A for the first cycle of the verse, so we are not getting too many note changes. That's what we want. And then we'll drop back to the G.
Mama, put these guns in the ground. I can't shoot them. Mama, I can't shoot them yet. Mama, put these. I can't shoot them anymore.
No, it won't work there, so let's just have this second half here.
I can't shoot them anymore. I can't shoot them anymore.
You could have that, or you can experiment, you know, and try other things.
I can't shoot them.
You could do that, have a harmony.
I can't shoot them anymore. I can't shoot them anymore.
But you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'll do it like that.
I can't shoot them anymore.
Okay, let's hear that.
Mama, put
And the drum, this drum would be very low.
Mama, put these guns in the ground.
Like, you don't want to blast them out with it. Like, have it so softly low that they maybe feel something's changed, and then as they're listening to it, they go, "Oh yeah, there's a string in there."
Mama, put these guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore.
Oops, hang on.
I can't shoot them anymore.
Yeah, fine, perfect, that'll do. Nothing heavy, just a subtle drone, a single note, which adds interest to the second cycle of verse. It's an extra instrument coming in.
There's long black clouds coming on down. Feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. There's long black clouds coming.
And then we go into the chorus, and I'm going to keep the strings, but then we augment the strings, right? So it's a subtle drone over the second verse to add interest. Now, if the strings were then to disappear in the chorus, it would sound weird. So we keep the strings, and now we augment the strings, because again, it's about building as you work across the arrangement. So the second string cycle, we bring in a second harmony note, right? So I'm going to bring in that, B.
Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Like that.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
And then again. Oop. Something like that.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on.
And then again here. Right, now another technique. So then we go into the solo. Now again, if we drop back the strings, if they disappear completely, it will sound stupid. We've got the strings and then suddenly they disappear. I mean, look, I'll do it. Here's the strings in the chorus coming out into the solo.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Well, it doesn't sound stupid, but you know, you can drop it out there if you want and go back to the drone, the verse drone, that would work. But what I'm going to do is keep the chorus strings, and I'm going to add over the solo, to add tension, I'm going to add a very high drone. A very high G. Not quite as loud. Let's hear that. Oh, glorious, that high note just hanging there. It's very Mozart, do you know what I mean? So join these together and make that note sustain all the way through. And then we just modify the end with a beautiful little climb into the final chorus. Right, so we got that lovely string drone. Let's have the bugger going right across. We'll change there maybe or something. Right, let's hear that. And end on a magnificent climb. I love doing string parts. Right. But we've got to play from the beginning to get that high bloody note. There is a thing in Logic I can get it to like in the preferences to like locate previous MIDI notes, but and at this point, you're coming. The vinegar strokes. Alright, so we will just copy now the chorus over. From here, the strings. Or, if you want, keep this same bloody high drone going, you know, but it's up to you. Actually, I'll not have the high drone coming out of the solo, because then it would lose its feature quality over the... Bloody Logic would lose its feature quality, wouldn't it? Let's see what happens coming out of this climb into the next string bit.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's...
Now if you wanted to here, you could add in a third harmony as well. Like say that, you know.
Knock, knock, knocking.
Yeah, I will.
On heaven. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
So my chorus, my final chorus, got even more strings, a third harmony.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
And then keep playing with that string line, the top string line harmony. Right, go up for the second bit.
Knocking on heaven's door.
You know, don't drop back down to here.
Knock, knock.
Like that.
Heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's.
Yeah, like this.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Then, final chorus cycle, which is the fade out. Copy that lot over, and then I would put the high string back in, the high drone, up on the G there. Or I might even go for an even higher one up here. Yes, why not? And have that bugger going right across the end. Because we'll fade out across this bit. So we get this.
Knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking.
Yeah, hang on. I want that string sustaining right across that bit, so glue it together. Go back in and let's make. No! This poxy new logic. If I've got this region highlighted but that track selected, when I go to open the editor, it shows me the content for a track where no region is selected on it. When I go to the editor, I expect to see what I expect to see in the editor, the content for the highlighted region, not for the selected track. It's stupid that, and I don't know why it does that, but it does. This new logic. Right, let's that string sustains right across. Oh, it does. What happened then? Okay, well, that should be right. Here we go. Then coming out this.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
And to put your fade out in, if you're going to do a fade out, you go to the mixer, choose the output, right click, create a track for it. There's the output track. Put the track automation on, volume, make sure your output's at its proper level. I'm going to fade out over this last cycle of chorus from there across to the end. Okay, we had one full cycle of double chorus. Fade out begins there to the end, right? So, put in my node. That's the end node. Now the distance between the first and second node is the length of your fade out. Then put a curve on it so it doesn't have a horrible linear fade out. If you put a curve like that, it'll fade out very, very gradually at first and then speed up the fade out at the end. So let's hear the string high bit coming in and the final fade out.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Yeah? done and dusted. And if you wanted to, you could put in Hammond organ, or you could put in piano pads. You know what I mean? It's entirely up to you. But there's an example of how to do an icing on the cake type thing with a few simple arrangement production rules. Okay, which is again all this it's the same repeating thing in producing and arranging. Do not give them everything at once. So just to repeat, the song begins with the intro. We get the basic drums and the strumming. There's the interest. But then we get to the verse. We don't want, now the vocal comes in then, so there's no need to really do anything else. The vocal comes in here, which adds interest in the next 16 bars because the vocal comes in. So the drums and the bass and everything else don't really need to change much, and there's nothing else needed. The vocal comes in, which adds something to the next section, the first verse. Then the chorus comes in. Well, that naturally changes things. It gets faster. The singing changes. Extra drums are brought in, so there's no need for any other instrument there. But then you come out of the chorus into the second verse, it's like, well, we're back to another verse, which is the same as the first verse. So here you bring in your first auxiliary icing on the cake instrument in the form of a very subtle drone in this case. That adds just a little bit of extra to the verse, but you're not giving them all the strings at once. Then into the chorus you augment the strings by bringing in a second harmony, which builds the strings into the chorus. Then the strings continue over the solo, but adding the high drone, which brings tension. Then we keep the strings going over the final choruses, okay, but adding in a third harmony, and for the final cycle of chorus, a very high drone to give it, to sort of push the glory right to the top for the final bit. Build, drone, then continue with a second harmony note, then continue the double harmony string but with the high drone to add tension, then bring in a third harmony and a high drone for the end. Just build, 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 build. You see what I mean? And of course you'd have your BVs as well, and over your outro there'd be your licks and things as well, little guitar licks, there'd be little guitar licks you drop in and everything. And now you've got your icing on the cake stuff done, you maybe put a piano or something as well. That's the point at which some people then go, right, the arrangement's done now, I've got it kind of pretty much there, I'll put my lead vocal down now properly, because they like to do the final vocal with the full performance in the headphones, okay? And just lastly, if you're making a demo and you don't know much about engineering and stuff, well, look, go to the output channel strip, the output, go to the settings spot and just wang on a factory output channel strip preset like broadcast ready or extended high, whatever, you know, try them out. Hyped mix, let's see what hyped mix does. Hyped mix is adding compression, a linear EQ, an exciter, a mix, what is that? Oh, a direction mixer, okay. A little bit of widening and a limiter, and it makes it sound like this. Take them out, and this is it without them. Put them back in. Or maybe that's too hyped for something subtle like this, and you might go for just broadcast ready. It just gives it a bit of tarting up. Wang one of those on before you render it off for your mates, you know, and or whoever it's for. And once you've got your fade out length done, if you're doing a fade out, and I'm going to do more of these, showing how to do other songs, and I'll show you how to do a non-fade out ending where it ends like, oh no, knocking on heaven's door, ba-doom, doom, doom, ba-doom, or something like that, right? There's ways to do that as well. But once you've got the ending, then bring the end marker back just behind it, so that when you do your final render off, you don't get a big bit of silence after the song, okay? Then you put your BVs as well. And you know what, just to finally finish it off, I'll wang a BV down. Yeah, that'll do, sod it. It's only just to show you what we do. Right. I'll lower the bugger right down. So there we are. I've snapped the beginning to the beginning of the bar, then I can copy it to the next section like that. Then I can grab both of those and copy them over to the next one like that. Yeah, there you go. Now you got your fade out, but with BV, and I can lower the BV, wang some more reverb. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven. etc. Okay, and just okay, that's that. I mean, and you see how it works. But then you put down your proper guitar and your proper vocal and your proper solos and your proper BVs. You mic them up properly. Put your lead out ad libs, any oohs and ah, BVs, guitar licks across the song. You know, little guitar licks going do 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 do. You know, whatever. And then lastly, I'll just show you these arrangement markers. Okay, I wouldn't maybe recommend rearranging the arrangement when you're this far into it. When you've got the basics of drums and the guitar and vocal down, you can try things like this. You can go, you know what, I want the solo to be after the first chorus. Drag the solo marker across, it chops everything below it and moves it across. Bang. Now my solo. Look at that, brilliant, huh? Is that not? Are you not entertained? Then it just moves the whole, everything under that marker gets moved. But you might get little chunks of audio left like that, and I'll undo and show you why that is. That's because when you move this marker, okay, look below it, okay, the audio sticks out that side of the marker and sticks out that side of the marker. So when we move this marker, it chops any audio or any other regions below it and moves the content that it covers, in other words that 16 bars only, not anything outside of it. It moves it across. It moves all the content it represents underneath it across. So therefore it chops the front and the back off that bit of audio and leaves them behind. Now if this was the fade out little bit of that solo, you'd have to drag that across. And if this was the lead in little bit for the solo, you'd have to drag that across and butt it up at the beginning. Then you've done. See what I mean, or whatever. So you have to watch out for that one when you use these arrangement markers to move things around. Undo, undo, undo. Okay. And the other thing you have to watch out is that the tempo nodes, if you're using them, do not get corrupted. You know, so for example, I might go, I want this chorus to be a single chorus. Another thing you can do is this: highlight that chorus marker, just press delete, and it'll delete anything underneath it, and it'll chop, of course, anything that, you know, it'll cut any regions that are not exactly on those lines between the between the bars it covers, this marker. So it'll chop this bit of audio here because that's not cut. Okay, it'll cut it exactly on that line. Okay, so you can think, well, I don't want this chorus, I want it to be a single chorus there. Just highlight that marker and hit delete, boom, done, and then get a rubber or the eraser and delete the actual marker, boom, and you've got rid of that chorus. There's a single chorus now. Just watch out, these tempo nodes do not get corrupted. That's the other thing to watch out for. And now you've got a single chorus.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Mama, put these guns in.
But there, you've got to watch out for corruptions. Here's a corruption, for example. Hasn't copied, you've lost the roll pattern at the end, of course, because the roll pattern isn't at the end of the first cycle of chorus, it's only at the end of the last cycle of chorus. So you've lost the roll pattern at the end of the chorus. You'd have to copy this one over from here. So if you do use these arrangement markers to knock bits out or copy, rearrange the order of sections, be careful about leftover bits of audio that have been chopped that were not directly below the marker. Watch out for tempo nodes being corrupted, and watch out that you don't get things like that where you half the chorus but then discover that only the second cycle of chorus has got the roll at the end, so when you half this chorus you have no roll at the end. You'd have to then knock out those two regions there and then copy that roll across to there and modify it or whatever. Okay, so let me undo. Okay, so there you go, that's what the arrangement markers do. They are wonderful. But I wouldn't recommend rearranging your song at this point. Do it earlier on when you're working on the idea, because let's face it, you'd only want to rearrange these parts if you weren't really sure of the song in the first place, right? So use these arrangement markers to try different ideas for the arrangement, but not when you're at this stage of the song. Do that when you've got the basic drums and the guitar and the vocal down or something, and then try chopping it around and say, yeah, you know what, it's better with a single chorus, you know what, it's better the solos here rather than there, etc. Okay? Bish bash bosh, lovely jubbly. So there you go. Knoking on heaven's door. There's one example of how to get a song together. Now, I know this was a long tutorial, but you know, you can watch the first bit when I get it up to getting the drum beat together, and then have a tea break, and then watch the next bit. I mean, how else am I supposed to? If you want to watch someone building a song, even to a basic stage like this, it's obviously going to take some time. But I hope that is useful for beginners, and I'll do some other ones when I've got time. I'll try doing different genres. You know, I don't know. I'll do a metal song or a rock song next, or some, you know, garagey or indie guitar thing with harmony guitar parts, and explain the use of harmony, what are they called, ostinato work. It's a common thing in these guitar songs now, where you got the guitar, the riff going, and you know, you got your little ostinato guitar part going, or whatever. There's all these different techniques, standard techniques used in arranging and producing these kinds of songs. So I'll do a different genre next time, something different, but that shows you how to basically get a backing together for a typical acoustic song, be it a Stones style song like Angie or something, or even someone like Dylan or John Prine or Neil Diamond, or I don't know who the modern singer-songwriters are. Jake Bugg, is it? I saw him with the Stones. He was actually quite good. I was actually quite impressed with Jake Bugg. He didn't have that kind of like whole vibe going on when you look at him and think, what a bloody upper class idiot wannabe rock and roll boy. You know, he's got some talent, I must say. Variety of guitar playing was good. Got a reasonable voice. It wasn't that cheesy. I didn't find myself wanting to slit my wrists, you know. Not like when I go and see the Stones usually and they've got bloody Star Sailors supporting them. Christ almighty. I'm usually in the bar with earplugs on at that point, you know what I mean? But anyway. And I'll show you how to do a reggae tune, and then we'll do a pop track, you know, we'll choose some chart track and we'll do a track in that style. But the point is, no matter what kind of track you're doing, if you already know the song and its structure, that's how you build the backing, regardless of the genre. If you were doing a dance pop song and you knew the song in terms of verse, chorus, arrangement, linear, you'd still build it in the same way. When you're making a dance track, that's entirely different. Dance tracks you might build a dance track by starting with a bass line and a synth riff or something. You know, dance grooves and things come together differently, but essentially, even for a pop song using electronic instruments, but which had a vocal and was still a fairly traditional song in a linear sense, you still use this technique pretty much to get that song together. Okay, right, show. But then, you know, we could get into deeper things to do with production, where you do have that basic song and you have the melody that the writer has come up with, but then you go, well, we know what, we're going to start with the bass line, and then because the bass line's got a certain groove, we're going to modify the melody or the rhythm of the melody or something. You know, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, producing and arranging, right? Depends what you're being presented with as the project. Okay. I did a project once, for example, which was a Eurovision Song Contest entry song, and I started to record it for the writers who wrote it, and then me and the session vocalist who'd been booked to do the song, she came up with a completely different melody for the chorus while we were experimenting around with the groove and things, and the two writers didn't like it, and afterwards me and her went on and kind of developed the track further around that and made it into a dance track. And you know, so you don't know, songs can develop in different ways depending on how finished the idea is when it's presented to you to produce or arrange or record or engineer or whatever, right? But anyway, so there you go. I hope that's been interesting and useful, and I'll see you for the next one.